Coach, it seemed like after U of L got the first goal, you guys seemed to dominate possession for the end of the first half, for the rest of the first half and beginning of the second half. But it didn't seem like after Schmitt's goal that you guys were able to do the same. Was it just something that U of L did on their defense, or what happened there?
Oh, I thought we dominated most of the first half, and as possession-wise, and certainly right up until we scored. And then I think, to be honest, after we scored, I thought Louisville came back into the game, and I don't know. That's a question you've got to try and wonder why, as a coach, that we had played so well up until we scored. I thought once the game came back to 1-1, I felt Louisville came back into it, and then of course they got the goal, their second goal, and then I thought we got possession without threatening. I thought up until we scored, I always thought we looked very dangerous, but after that. After they scored, they came into the game, and then when they got the goal, to be honest, they just sat back again, and they were pretty comfortable, and they didn't, even though we had the game in their half at that time. We obviously pushed our fullbacks high and left ourselves open to transition, which the third goal came off. But once you're searching for goals at the end, you've got to take some chances. But yeah, that was the way I saw it.
It looks possible that the ACC could get as many as 6 teams in the Elite Eight, and obviously the winner of this game was going to be one of those teams. What does that say about the conference in general, that it could be that dominant in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I said before any of the tournaments started, I think winning the ACC is almost harder than winning the national championship, to be honest with you. It's a very, very difficult conference to. Well, it's a great conference. I say it's difficult, but it's a great conference to play, and we're very lucky to play in a conference where you're playing great games every week. And this was another. It was a very closely contested game. We've come down here twice. Have both in many ways been quite similar, the games. But full marks to Kenny. He's got his team very, very well drilled. They're an excellent team. They've got some terrific players, and the big lad Mohamed, he's our scourge. He scored a couple of tremendous goals in both our visits.
One is, I would start by saying last week I talked about the depth of the team, and I thought that was the strength of what we did again today. We had one of our starters, Jeff, had to leave in the first half, and the guys that came in off the bench gave us a huge lift. And then on top of that, the guys that we've been counting on all year came through huge. These 3 guys in particular up here with me. But again, it starts with a team effort. I thought that the energy, the effort was awesome. We had a little bit of a lull in the first half, but I thought the second half we handled much better, especially after they scored. I think it was like poking the bear a little bit, and we came out more aggressive and dominated the game from there on in.
Questions for the players?
Tate, on the corner kick there, it looked like you timed it perfectly, Reynolds' corner kick. Tell us a little bit about what you saw as the play was emerging.
Well, I was just getting subbed in right there, so I didn't really see what happened, how we led up to the corner kick. But they run a zone, and so in the practices leading up, we've been practicing where to lose defenders and to go into spaces. So we just have a time runs, and I went to the back post where I should be, and it was a great ball from Danny.
I would say it's kind of a deja vu, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was. Different angle, but just talk about the ball Danny gave.
Just great ball, right over the center back head. Far enough for the keeper couldn't come out and get it either.
So much of that is timing. It's the delivery of the ball and the timing of the run, and that's why we train the restarts. But both his delivery, Danny's delivery, and to head a ball where you're rising up and timing it, and to do that all like Tate's done the last 2 weeks is pretty amazing. And it was an awesome time for the goal.
Mo, how important was it to get out in front early like you were able to help this team do?
It was very important to get the first goal, because as coach tells us to do, it's 70%. If you get the first goal, you will win the game, and that's what we always try to do: get the first goal.
Tim, after they get the equalizer there early in the second half, what's going through your mind, and what are you and your teammates talking about on the pitch to kind of get restarted there?
Like Coach already said, it's like poking a bear. Because, I mean, I said starting up the second half that we're number 4 for a reason. Like, we have the number 4 seed for a reason. And that we should get our chest out and play like champions, because we all... I mean, if you're top 4 seed, you obviously want to go to the College Cup and you have aspirations to go to the College Cup. And we knew, like, overall, if we have a good day, like, we can outplay them. And it was like after we scored the goal, it was like we kind of like shifted a couple of gears back and kind of like just defended the lead. But as soon as they scored, it was like a wake-up call for the whole team. And I mean, it was an unfortunate goal again, like last week. But I think it was like Coach said, poking the bear, and then we just went for it. Like we said, guys, there's nothing more to defend. Let's just go for it. And I think that was obvious, because after that, the next 5 minutes were just Louisville soccer attacking. And yeah.
What does this mean, Tim, and to continue on here one more step, one more week of training?
It means a lot, because I mean, you literally play for tomorrow. So I mean, if you don't win this game, you don't train tomorrow most likely. And for some players it's good that you don't realize that, but for some players, like I mean, for me personally, it's good because it's like an extra motivation. So as soon as we conceded the equalizer, I was thinking like, okay, we got to shift up a couple of gears. We got to keep going, because I really want to keep going with this group, because coach is always alluding to it that it's like super fun to play with the group. Like, it's super fun to train, and everything we do as a team is super fun. And I think everyone just like wants to be part of this journey. And
so it's so difficult to get to the Elite Eight, to the quarterfinals.
It is.
What's it mean for the program to be back?
Oh, it's huge. Like, especially I've been here it's my 3rd year now, and to see it my freshman year, how heartbreaking it can be to get kicked out in the 3rd round. And last year we didn't even make the tournament. And I think the program is definitely a top 5 program in the country, and I think we should have the aspiration every year to get to the Elite Eight. And was it today or yesterday? I looked on the homepage in the article for the game today, and then they listed up like the previous years, how far we made in the tournament. And I think until I came here, they always made it to Elite Eight. And so I said today, dude, we have to make it. And that maybe it was like an extra push, but it means a lot for me and definitely for the program as well.
Anything else for the players?
Mo, on your goal, you get the long ball from Tim there, but you're flanked by 3 defenders on both sides of you. Talk a little bit about your process there, getting free, and then following up and getting the loose ball rebound there.
As the ball was building, I just kind of timed my run, and I knew Tim was going to play a perfect ball behind the defender, so I just had to time my run, and the ball fall right into my foot. I tried to chip the goal the first time, and it hit the post, and I just kept my composure, and the ball bounced back to me, hit it second post, and it went in. Felt great.
For Tim, Steph made a bunch of really big saves. What's it like having him behind you?
It's big. It's really big. I mean, yes, last game I made a mistake in playing back to him, like a little bit too slow. But I knew he's gonna bail us out. Like today, maybe we bailed him out. That's what people said. But he's a really good goalkeeper, and it's good to know that you have a guy who can play soccer and can also save balls. To have such a guy behind you, so it gives you confidence, and sometimes that you can step instead of sitting back because you don't want to have shots on goal. And I mean, just like to have it in the back of your mind, it's huge to have him in the back.
Anything else for the players? Part of what's going on with all the ACC teams advancing to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, we're just proud and excited to be a part of it and be in the Elite Eight. But I think the testament to the ACC is seeing Virginia Tech in the Elite Eight. Obviously, there was a winner that came out of this. I think UNC, Wake Forest, and there's still a couple out there that can get in. And I think as you look at the RPIs, it just confirms that the ACC is clearly the most difficult conference in the country, and like I said, very likely it's the hardest tournament to win in the country. when you have to go through the likes of Wake Forest, Clemson, Syracuse, UNC, and to win it. So we're excited and proud to represent the ACC in the NCAA tournament and still be moving on.
Coach, this week you said that first win against Notre Dame gave you guys a ton of confidence. What does this win in particular do going forward?
Well, it builds the momentum. And for sure, we know that Notre Dame's a very good team, and I think UCLA and Notre Dame have created two really good opponents that allow us to build some confidence going into the next one. Number one, it's great to have it at home as well. Playing these games at home, and knowing the next one is going to be at home as well. And coming off these two wins, I think, like we've told our guys, it builds momentum. I said last week as well, though, the quote we've given the guys is, "Momentum is a cool mistress, though." And if you don't pay attention, it'll quickly turn. And what our guys did this past week in training was they were really tuned in and really focused, and it showed by how we played today.
You talked about minutes. Ricardo wasn't in there long, but he gave you a little spark, didn't he?
He did. He had a little fire, a little some energy, and it bordered on maybe a little bit too much. But Ricardo gave great minutes. Sawyer, Sharif, those guys gave a lot of energy, and even Cody at the end of the game. Those guys all gave us a lift at a time in the game where we really needed it. And it gave Mo just enough of a rest that he came back in a game and finished it really strong. So again, I go back to the first statement I said, and the depth of the team is the strength right now.
After the first goal, it seemed like Notre Dame kind of dominated possession there for the end of the first half and the first part of the second half. But after the second goal that you guys scored on Schmidt's header, it seemed like you guys were more assertive in denying them opportunities. Was there anything that the coaching staff did strategically, or was there something that the players picked up on after that second goal?
I think we're learning. And it's learning how to win in tournament games. And what I mean by that is the first goal we scored, and this happened a little bit against UCLA, we went into a protective mode. And we were trying to preserve the lead rather than add to it. And in the first half, we spoke about it at halftime, that the danger of trying to preserve it. And in the second half, I thought we did a much better job that once we scored the second goal, that we kept it going and really dominated the game at the end.
Coach, the further along you guys get, closer and closer you get to that championship, how do you keep this team grounded to maybe not look too far ahead?
Well, we've done a really good job all year of having milestones that during the course of the season, certainly at the beginning, we set long-range goals of winning the ACC and the national championship. But when it's so far away, it's difficult to maintain a focus and the importance of each and every game. So we've created milestones by which we know that we're hitting benchmarks and we're getting there. And it's how we live our daily lives of looking at whatever the next milestone is that we have to reach that before we can win a national championship. So that has helped us tremendously in maintaining a focus and being tuned in to what's next rather than looking too far ahead.
You guys celebrate tonight?
Yeah, we're going to enjoy it. We're absolutely. To win a Sweet 16 game here, we're going to enjoy it. But also tomorrow, we're going to get back to work. We train in the morning and get ready to go and get to the Final Four.
I know there's going to be 6 days between games, but for the second time in 3 games, the winner of the team you all play will have had to travel cross country, whether it's Stanford or Virginia. Does that give you guys any kind of advantage, or is there enough of a lull between games where whoever it is can recover.
I hope it gives us an advantage. The reason why you want a top 4 seed is that you don't have to do that traveling. And listen, whether the traveling is across country or Notre Dame coming down here on a 4-hour bus trip, what we know is that they're not at home and they're not sleeping in their own beds and all of that. So my hope is that, yes, it creates an advantage, and that's why we love playing at Lynn.
Any more questions?
What's Jeff D's status?
Don't know yet. I saw him just briefly before coming in. I said, "How you doing?" He says, "I'll be ready for next week."